Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Lima. We're on another episode of VSW. Tonight, we have a very special guest, one of the deadliest combatants in Kill City. I don't even know how else to describe him. He is like, he's pure evil. Welcome, Bonez.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I have to say, you really left a mark on, when I first saw you. When I first caught a glimpse of you in the Kill City Cup, you were in a match, and, your presence there, it was very fitting, but it was very different than all the other guys. Me being a fan, as you can see, I'm a horror fan. I like horror. It's always been something that's been a passion of mine. And when I see that interact with the world of pro wrestling in a nice way, it's like kudos. Yes, this is like everything combined. You did that for me. You gave me chills entering that arena. The entrance and just everything about it. Was that the first time that you had wrestled during the Kill City Cup?
No, I've been wrestling. I've been wrestling for about as long as I can remember. It's been a while for me. I've been since I was little. I love the feeling of grabbing a limb and just manipulating it. It excites me so much. So when I finally decided to get in the ring, it's been about 10 years. It's been a while.
Okay. So you've been in the game for a little bit. Where'd you start wrestling at? What part of the country?
So when I got out of high school, I found Zoago. I found my Lord and Savior. He directed me to House of Glory in Queens, New York, where I found Amazing Red, and Amazing Red actually gave me the name Bones because I was skinny, but I just loved everything about it. I loved the pain. I loved inflicting pain, and I used to be so skinny that my bones would actually like hurt my opponents. So that's where the name Bones came from.
Wow. So you went to Hog and you got involved. You started training there. Very notable school, very good. And from there, you just started to, start working. Sure, did you come out as you look now, just right from the get-go, or is that something you kind of worked on?
It's been a process. I evolve my look every time. I go out there, always come back into the sanctuary. This around me, I come back here and I pray. I say, so Ago, is there something I could do better? And he always directs me. He always says, hey, you should get this mask made. You should do this. You should get your hair.
Let me add them. I'm interested in a lot of this stuff. Explain a little bit about Ziago.
So Ago, he came to me in a dream. I was lost as a kid, shy, and I just wanted the confidence to get into wrestling, just get into the world. Is a old ancient voodoo god who I look up to, and I emulate everything about. So I pretty much live by his blessing. Pretty much everything that I do is to appease him.
So it really is about appeasing the gods, sacrifice all of that in the ring. And what you do. No, that's great because like I said, I studied worldly religion. I've studied other parts. I've studied a little bit of voodoo. I don't know all the gods and goddesses because there is a lot. It's not like like Christianity, where there's only like duality. There's like many different gods for different causes and what you need done and who do you go to. Kind of like Egyptian and other religions out that way. where there's all this, multiple gods. That's always something that's fascinated me outside of the ring. So, like you said, you're ever evolving and you're always kind of looking for guidance as you do so. Was there any wrestlers out there though, like on TV, that kind of inspired you, or was this something that you got a glimpse of and just was like, I want it all? What kind of drew you to even want, besides breaking bones, pulling limbs, and that? What kind of got you drawn into it?
Well, I was always a fan of who I look up to, Papa Shango. But as I finally actually got into training and I got into the technical aspect of how to actually break a bone and break a limb and then I started looking into Jamie Noble, who I think is extremely rated.
Well, yeah, I mean, nothing
Kurt
against
Angle, Rey Mysterio. I like all styles. I'm a big Jackie Chan is a huge idol.
And like you said, Papa Shango, I could see the resemblance a little bit.
The way he puts his body out there on the line to do the stunts that he does.
You're breaking up a little bit there.
Sorry, you broke.
Yeah, no, again, a little bit of a bad connection, but I think it's okay now. Saying your Wi-Fi is a little bit low. No, but I was gonna just go back and just kind of reiterate. I could see that the resemblance with the Papa Shango. He was one of the kind of first wrestlers that was notably bringing out the voodoo in wrestling. I remember it clearly as a kid. I know what's honestly the best part of WrestleMania 8 for me was him like interfering in the main event. But yeah, as you said, you wanted to break bones. He wasn't much of a technical wrestler as so much of a showman. Even later on in other iterations. So you had to kind of look towards, the grapplers and the ones that, like you said, Kurt Angle, the Olympians, and the people that, would, put you in the leg lock, the arm lock. So you like the submissive work. You're into that kind of stuff. But like you said, you're all around style, and we did catch that as well. And you kind of blend that nicely. At least what I saw, in the Kill City Cup. Now I know that I've known that you've been wrestling for a bit. I'm gonna have to go like scurrying through YouTube and looking for videos. I am interested.
Yeah, man, check me out, man. Every time I go out there, I try to hurt my opponent as much as I can. So if they're not hurt at the end of the match, I didn't do my job. I did not. I had failed Zoago that moment, and there's been times I have, but I make sure it doesn't happen much. Sure.
Now, will you get punished if you fail?
I mean, I will punish myself, but no, he's watching over me, and I just don't want to let him down. I'll never want to let Zoago down because it could go bad for me. But if I go, who's gonna spread his word?
Well, that is true. He picked you for a reason.
Exactly.
And you doing his work and spreading his word. I'm sure he is a little bit forgiving in that. So like you said, you were out there in New York. Did you stay out there wrestling, or did you start traveling and just break out?
Yeah, I've done Canada. I've done North Carolina. I've mostly done East Coast for right now, but definitely this year I plan on branching out a lot more. So stay tuned.
Can't wait. Can't wait. What has been one of your favorite matches out there that you've done?
That I've done? Oh, that I've done. I mean, like you said, the Kill City Cup for me was the most fun I've ever had because it was just a different type of experience, to death. To death.
Yeah, we're gonna talk
To death.
about that right now because like, and I'll tell everybody that on the cast because thank you. I'll tell Luke thank you.
Yeah.
I was
No,
in a
thank
slouch.
you.
I was in a slouch in pro wrestling just in general. You go to a lot of shows, you start to notice things like things start looking the same. And then everything it just can kind of add up, even on social media. A lot of negativity. So then you just get a slouch. I was in one of those slouches and I didn't really want to produce much. I didn't want to do much. And all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I'm, scrolling and it's like, every morning I wake up at 5:30. I get that hour in before my son wakes up. And I'm, scrolling and I see something that says, Mortal Kombat times pro wrestling. I'm seeing Brian Cage and other characters. I'm like, what is this? I put it right on and I am just like wide-eyed for the whole, hour. I am glued to this thing. And I watched probably 2 more times later that day. And it just, honestly, it rejuvenated the passion for me for pro wrestling because it reminded me that it can be different. It can be whatever you want it to be. It's a very subjective sport. And he proved that. He took it to the boundaries of what wrestling is. I mean, he turned it into a movie.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Exactly. It's the most fun I've ever had. Because you're not allowed to actually win by sacrifice. But this time, that was the goal. They gave me two opponents and said sacrifice them both. It didn't work out for me. Zoaga was very upset that day. But you know what? I had a blast. And I'd love to do it again. If Luke would do it again, I would be there, and this time I'd be prepared for sure.
And that's the thing. You got to see you perform real magic, which usually is banned in any ring in the United States and Canada and so forth. But you were able to just use your full abilities and powers, which was very impressive.
Exactly.
You might not have come with the victory, but to be honest with you, I think the whole thing was rigged from the beginning. Just look what happened to the Russian Crush. She didn't make it very far with her victory.
Yeah. No, everybody I think came out real good in that one. It was a good thing.
But what a cool idea. So how did you get involved? Did Luke just hit you up and be like, yo, I need Bonez?
Yeah, he just hit me pretty much. He just hit me up and was just like, "Yo, I gotta have you a part of this." I said, "Kill City Cup." I was kind of once I heard the name, I was sold. You didn't have to tell me much. I was down there. I was ready to fight. I didn't know it was be as awesome as it was, but double plus. Great time, great time. I loved it.
And had you worked with Luke prior to that?
Nope, that was my first. Like I said, he had I had seen him on Twitter. I added him. He reached out, and then it just happened right then and there.
Oh,
it all happened all at once.
That's cool. So I know and that was the greatest thing about this movie. There was people from like all aspects of wrestling. You had WWE guys, AEW guys, NWA people. In fact, everybody just all together. He pulled everybody and it blended again nicely. You couldn't find a better cast, I don't think, for that movie.
Oh, for sure. It was great.
And I'm sure with that cast, there must have been some funny stuff happening too.
Oh yeah, it was a real great time. It was
You have
the most fun.
You have any good funny stories?
Well, I remember Too Cold Scorpio when he was there. He was a real fun time to be around. I can't remember the stories verbatim, but they've since come out on Dark Side of the Ring. When he was talking, I think it's the Korea episode. If you go back and watch it, the story he said on that episode is pretty much the story he had told us backstage. And yeah, it was. And then he told us more stuff about when he was in Japan. And man, it gave me a fire to just want to go out there more. Just kind of experience that for myself out in Japan, fighting out there. It was great. It was great meeting everybody. Really, It's just gonna suck when I have to sacrifice them. You know, he's
Yeah,
God,
nobody
what you
wants to
got.
lose a good friend, but that's what sacrifice is all about.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly,
I would
exactly.
just, I wouldn't sacrifice the producer. You want him to keep making films.
I mean, Luke's a good guy. Luke's a good guy. I wouldn't hurt him. I don't think I would hurt him. I mean, if Zoago doesn't says he's cool, he's cool. Zoago has no beef with him, so he's cool. He's cool with us. He's cool with us.
But there was a lot of, like I said, wild characters in that. You had yourself in there. You had people like Zip Monk and other decent horror characters, coming out, zip it up. All these just fun faces. It really was that video game vibe. I wanted to choose somebody, grab my controller.
I will say there was another voodoo guy I met there who's become a really good friend to me. I don't know if he wasn't in this tournament. There was a second tournament, which
we did hear. I will be honest. We did hear from the Queen herself that there is a part 2 coming out soon.
Yeah,
we don't know when. And I'm guessing that's the part of this tournament, the part 2.
Yeah. So I had a face off.
Another voodoo
guy.
Huh? Oh, wow. You said another voodoo person.
Yeah, I had a face off with him, and after we went to war, it was a real great time. And
no,
I usually don't get along with many people.
Did they bring in Dumbledore or somebody on their side, or was it just a street fight?
No, it was the same thing, just a match to the death. And my memory is bad. I don't know how that outcome happened, but I don't get along with too many people. But I think just the beauty of voodoo is that it actually can bring people together.
So we're here for the same even though there was beef and hostility, there was still a common connection.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
which brings on a common respect. That's great, though. That's great, and I can't wait to find out more on the scoop of that and when that's going to drop and how, where, and when. But I was surprised again, even on the first film that it was just available on YouTube. I mean, it wasn't behind no paywall, it wasn't on no pay-per-view, it wasn't on no Apple streaming, whatever, for $9.99. It was right there for everybody to watch, free of charge on YouTube. I mean, that's generous. Especially in this day and age where everything costs something.
Oh yeah, no, especially these days you can't find anything for free. It's for sure a blessing. Luke's a good guy.
I mean, something of that quality, honestly, it is movie quality. It's made its way around, not only just wrestling fans, but now it has hit movie critics. It has hit, horror fans, critics. It's been on many podcasts. People have been all over the place. We've been spreading the word. Since I started and Luke talked to me, I was like, whatever you want me to do, I want to talk to as many of the people that were on that show. I want to talk to everybody. And let's spread the word as much as we can. Because that's why I made this podcast, to put eyes and ears on independent wrestling. And what better is an independent wrestling movie? And especially, like I said, the cast, everybody, that I've talked to has just been so nice. Humble, honest, great to talk to, fun to talk to. I went up north, way up north Maine for a convention for Kill City. I saw the serial killer there, Mason X. Even him, he only choked me for 5 or 6 seconds. It wasn't too bad. And then he was funny. But that's the thing. It really brings, the passion back for wrestling, but it also brings people together. It's bringing fans together, talking about it. And I really am, like I said, excited to see what is planned for part 2 because, I mean, I knew there had to be one. They couldn't just leave you hanging like that, but you never know.
My favorite thing with the Kill City Cup is, like you said, there's pro wrestling and there's horror. And me personally, like you said, it's also my 2 favorite things. I like a lot. I just love the fear. I love when you look at somebody and you just see the fear in their eyes. It's just so exciting. So if more companies or if more people can do things that involve horror, I'm all for it. Is Nightmare of Elm Street your favorite horror movie?
What is it?
I says Nightmare on Elm Street your favorite horror movie?
No, it's one of them though. Growing up, I did like it. It's a good story, but then to me, it got funny. I have a serious problem with horror. I love horror, but I have a problem finding something that's actually truly scary.
Yeah, same here. You're preaching. You're preaching with that one. My favorite horror movie right now is Sinister. It's actually my entrance music when I go out there. I forget what scene, but it's one of the scenes I go out there. I love everything about it. I love the aura. I love the way that he messes with the main character's mind. It's what I inspire to be. I like I love the professional wrestling. I love the submissions, but I also love the mental game that I could play on my opponents. It all just makes it so much more fun for me. So
Well, I'll tell
Sinister.
you, when I watched your entrance, honestly, I felt like I was in like Surfing in the Rainbow. Like it was like
Oh, that's another
a good
classic.
movie,
Oh,
but
classic.
it brought that vibe to it because there was nobody else coming to the music like that, and you just the light, the lighting and everything, and I have to say the setting and everything just made it look so just dark and grim and just it was like that gave me chill, especially at 5:36 in the morning. I'm like, wow, this guy's different. He's not
Yeah.
like the rest of them. But yeah, I do have that problem. Watching the horrors, I do enjoy them, but there's something that's actually terrifying. It's very hard. It has to be something really psychological, something really like the jump scares. They don't really do it for me.
Yeah. I
Slaughter
agree.
movies, not really at all. Slasher movies, people getting chopped. I'm all desensitized to that. I'm ruined. The internet's ruined me.
Yeah. You could. I mean, horror can't really be scary if you could just go on a website and watch like a beheading, or you could
But
just
that's
watch
the
like
thing,
straight up murder.
unfortunately, in the time, right now it's kind of been cleaned up, but before, in 2013, 14, 15, 16, and way before in the internet, and then all throughout time, there's been all sorts of websites. I was just talking to somebody the other day about rotten.com. They used to show all sorts of corpses and grim shit.
Yeah. Oh man,
And
that was
all these
like.
stock videos and stuff. So once you see that over and over again, it's like, okay, well, we're just watching cinema now. But yeah, unfortunately, but I do know people that get, they won't watch horror. They won't even sit in the same room with me when I watch these movies because they get terrified. And I'm like,
Yeah.
really? Scared? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was about to say I actually have family members that are like that, but I just force them to watch it because I get a kick out of watching them get scared from it. But
Oh, I like to see them get scared because, like I said,
yeah,
I've lost that kind of feeling. Once in a while there'll be scenes in the movie, especially if it's early or dark, and I'm alone, and there'll be times, but it has to be really something good. For a long time now, I haven't really, everything's been kind of commercialized and just, the story is just not scary. There might be entertaining, there might be horror elements that I like, but it's just not, obviously as a kid, things were different. You were scared of a lot more things until you grew older and, saw the world for what it was. So back then, yeah, probably I was scared of, Freddy and Michael Myers and all these other, characters. And now I was like, oh, I wish they were real. I'd be sitting here smoking with them, like, let's chill.
yeah, no, it's actually funny you say that. And, I'm not afraid to admit this because right now I found Zoago and nothing fears Bones. But back when I was a kid, this is I used to be scared of The Ring. I used to be scared. I used to be scared of Thriller. I just those things used to scare me as a kid. But
The Ring was a good one. That was a good one for a little bit because it had that element of like, oh my god, and then you kind of thought in your head, what if this happened? And like, is this
for me,
real? Something like this, and and it was a time when people were still kind of afraid of all these cursed things. And the internet was filled. People were hitting the dark web for curse videos, and you saw all this stuff. It had its moments, definitely. That was a good one.
Yeah. So my problem is that like I grew up. My mom's side of the family, who like I mostly grew up with, is Seventh-day Adventist. So I actually was never like around horror until like middle school, high school. So as a kid, when I just happened to watch The Ring, and I seen the scene where she's caught in the closet, found dead, and I just was just like, it like it changed me. I was just like, holy shit, that's scary. That was scary. But it now I look back and I'm just like, yeah, that's awesome. I could do it all the time, but it was just
Oh, definitely,
it
definitely.
was yeah.
Another good, like I said, another good one involving horror, but now it's kind of comedy would be Child's Play. You know
Oh
that,
yeah, no,
that
that was
one,
nothing.
but you know that it has voodoo in it. The dude's doing voodoo
It
spells
does.
all through
It
the
does.
beginning.
It does.
But again, looking as a kid, I was afraid of the doll. I didn't want to see the doll, but you know, as an adult, now I want to try to find one and buy one. It's like it's like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, like I said, you know, but I do try to watch, you know what gets put out for horror. There's, you know, some interesting ones out there. I'm trying to think what I just read. I saw that Thanksgiving one. That was okay for what it's worth. My kid likes the Five Nights at Freddy's. It was cool. It was okay. It was like the game, but it wasn't scary. Um, like I
Right
said, you
now,
know
I
what I
haven't
find
seen
like
much.
the best horror films, honestly, is like on Tubi and stuff, like these third party ones and
Yeah.
these like half finished ones. Because then you don't even know if they're like just snuff films and not honestly at that point because they're
Yeah.
just so badly done. You're like, I think that person really died and they just filmed it. It kind of makes you wonder, but yeah, you know, that is my other passion is the horror, and I'm glad to see, you know, that another horror fan out there is not really too afraid of the horror movies either.
You know what? Sometimes when the horror movies aren't as good as they used to be, you got to make your own. So that's all. That I'll leave it at that. Stay tuned.
Ooh, we can't
Stay
wait.
tuned.
We really
Stay tuned.
honestly we can't wait.
Yeah.
Outside of Kill Study Cup, have you been up to any other wrestling, any other promotions? You said you earlier you were talking about expanding outside of the East Coast.
Yeah. Well, this weekend I have Firestar Pro Wrestling out in North Carolina. They're having an event for the whole weekend, so I'm gonna be involved in one of those events. And I seen actually that my fellow training partners, Private Party, are having a tryout for a third member. So I figure, why not give them a little meeting and see if I can't persuade them. Other than that,
That sounds like big news and fun. In North Carolina, what part?
well, I just know it's by Charlotte, or I'm bad with geography.
It's
I
somewhere
don't
in
know,
North
somewhere over
Carolina.
there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I know. My wife's got family down there. I was like gonna start to send them down there with cameras and stuff, get me footage. That's why
yeah.
I was gonna have to start paying people to go to these shows when I can't get down there. But no, that's awesome. I can't wait. Maybe is it gonna be? Do you know if it's gonna be televised anywhere or like IWTV picking it up?
That I do not know, but
That's okay.
yeah,
I can do the research.
I just know if
I'm
you. I
always
know there.
interested in wrestling outside of New England. That's just something, like I said, I've been starting to watch wrestling in West Virginia. There's a couple of cool promotions I follow. And Kansas is starting to pick up for me. And I'm kind of venturing out and seeing what's out there. Because there is. I mean, New England is very good. You know, there's a lot of
Yeah,
great talent, but there's a lot of great talent worldwide. Well, yeah, worldwide, even beyond the nation, you know. There's tons of great wrestlers out there, great characters out there, just all
that's
sorts
the
of, you know,
exciting
great
part.
stuff.
That's what I love about professional wrestling is you're never wrestling the same opponent. It's always different people, different characters, different body types. I love hurting all of them.
They're all just pieces of meat to you, huh? Just another
Yeah,
way.
yeah. It's just so fun, you know. It's a blast to just get in there, and I'm happy with anything that happens. You know, as long as I could get in there and get to do my thing and get to show the word of Zoago, I'm happy. You know, it's a good time.
You know, and that is dedication and sacrifice. You're sacrificing your own body, you know, to spread the word of Ziago and to, you know, do that through the art of pro wrestling. It's great. It's great to see that because not a lot that, like I said, that's unique. And I'm all about the unique. I'm all about the different. I'm all about the not norm. I'm all about, you know, what not everyone else is doing. And there's nobody, not a single person out there doing what you're doing right now.
Exactly. It's just I realized I have to. But when I started, I was just I before I met Zoago, I had no direction. I knew I was always athletic, but I never knew like, hey, how am I gonna take this to the next level? But then I found Zoago, and he was just like, just listen to me, and I won't do you any wrong. And he hasn't. He hasn't. I've had so much fun. I've learned so much. I've gotten 5 times better than I've ever thought I could be. And now I'm here. Where I go now, you will I who knows, but it's gonna be a ride. Trust me, it's gonna be a fun ride.
Well, let me ask you, how can people follow along on that ride? Where can they follow you at?
I'm mostly on Instagram, VooDoo God Bones. You could find me there. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter and Facebook. I think they're all Voodoo God Bones. Voodoo God Bones are for each the fuck hyphen, whatever it's called. Yeah, they're all Voodoo God Bones.
Underscore.
Yeah. No underscore. Just Voodoo God Bones one way through.
Oh, just all one.
Yeah, I post the sacrifices. I do some skits every now. Like I said, horror. I'm a big fan of horror. I plan on bringing it back this year for sure. That's
Believe
my
it or not,
whole
that's how
thing.
my actual channel started. We started way back in 2016, 17. Me and my friend came up with ideas. It started as we started doing like comedy skits and stuff, and then it turned into my passion for horror. And I brought this horror character life as a crazy serial killer clown that had a passion for dance, and we did a couple of short skits, couple of movies, like short movies, and brought the character to life. And I have to say, it was one of the funnest times. And then I kind of found my way into, back into pro wrestling again for the first, after like 10 years of taking a break of watching it. And it was through the indie scene. I went to a local show and I said, wow, this is so cool. Everybody's so vibrant and it's so close. It's not like, miles away. That's what I feel like. I like WWE. I grew up watching WWE. I'm not gonna, say I didn't. I watched all the big shows. But then I got to an age where I got busy and I didn't have time for it all. And when I came back, I didn't know what was going on TV. I didn't even know who half. I only knew like 3 characters. Like Undertaker was still there, and a few others. That was still there from when I last had watched. And so much time went by. So I started going to local shows, and when I saw, like I said, how vibrant and colorful were, and how close I could get to the wrestlers, it's so much more personal. At an indie show, you're not miles away. You're like right in their face. That get thrown at you. That was the alert of it when I was getting to go to front row, and bodies are flying over the ring right at me. That grabbed me back then.
Yeah.
And so I started with the wrestling, and then the pandemic hit. And it was a terrible time for a lot of people. There was no pro wrestling. I don't know how about it affected you, but up here, the wrestling
it wasn't the same. It will never be the same without a crowd. You need that energy. I need the fear in those fans' faces. I need it. But it was just either wrestlers, which that's fun too, make scaring wrestlers, but it's not the same as a fan.
No, and that's the thing, and that was lucky if you were able to do it, or had a place to do it, or in a state that allowed it. And up here, everything was just kind of shut down, so everybody was depressed and everybody was online. So I started the podcast, started to get more eyes and ears on the scene, even more, and it worked. It did its job, and I had a lot of fun. I still have a lot of fun, but like I said, I had got into that slump. Not that I wasn't doing anything or not going anywhere. I still went, but you can go through the motions and not really feel anything. You know what I mean? Because it's the thing to do. But then, like I said, I saw that Kill City, and that passion, that fire was just like turned back on like a flame. It was wild. I was so excited. I still am so excited. I'm just like, and now hearing that a part 2 is coming out soon. Like I said, I'm just so excited.
I'm excited for everyone to watch it. It was a great time. Both parts were so fun to have. I hope he does another one. I think he will. From looking at how big both of them have gotten, I think he'll do another one. If he does, oh man, it's
definitely. I think that's gonna be the key. I think he did them, and he wanted to see how it would go. And it could go in many directions. Sometimes these films come out, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's cool," but it's But you know, I have to give it up to Luke. What he did with it wasn't an act kind of movie. He took great wrestlers, put them all in the ring together, and then put amazing production into the film. I mean, just amazing camera work, angles, the setting, and then all the special effects, everything, really tying it in, making it a film.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow. You know, and that's the route it went, the wow route. I still believe it does astonish people that watch it. I still get people that have never seen it before to watch and they're like, oh my God, that was great. You know, I love to tell people about it because it's not your normal TV wrestling, it's not your normal indie show. It is that, you know, Mortal Kombat feel, you know, action, fighting, video game style, time pro wrestling, times that horror, just everything that's great, just all together in one.
Yeah, he's doing something special over there for sure.
It is, and you know, and I wish it all the best. I love seeing the success, and you know, and what even more I love to see is the passion of the people that were involved. You know, that really tells a lot when the you know the cast is really hyped about the movie. You know, you can go to Hollywood and talk to people about the movie, and they might even be like, "Well, I didn't like that movie. Well, I didn't even have fun doing that movie," and they'll tell you all the bad shit that happened during the film of that movie. I haven't had one negative thing been said. I haven't heard one negative thing. You know, people have all said similar things. It was one of the funnest shows. Luke was one of the greatest people to work with, one of the funnest guys, you know, total, you know, had tons of just, you know, positive energy and great ideas. There's tons of ideas. You know, and that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it was a great time. I have nothing bad to say about it. I appreciate everything that was happening, and I just hope I can do it again because this time I have to win. I have to. It's Kill City Cup, Bones. We got to do it again. If you see if Luke, if you're watching this, do it again.
Well, you heard it there. Do it again.
Yeah.
We need more Kill City Cup, even more Kill City Cup. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and we need more Bones. We're gonna be following you closely and checking you out in all the promotions you get to work in, all your shows, sacrifice. I love all that stuff. All that you know, like I said, kind of that extra wrestling stuff. I like what happens in the ring, don't get me wrong, but I also like what happens outside the ring too. And you know, great promo work has always kind of drawn me into wrestling, you know, whether it be through managers, whether it be through wrestlers, whether it be through, you know, people like Undertaker that sometimes didn't even need to talk but say 2 words, but it would be this grim scene. You know, it was always something to look forward to.
Yeah. No, I've realized more as I get older that I just have to listen to that Zoago always looking out for me because sometimes I get carried away with, ooh, I want to do this cool move, but then I realize, will it break their bones? Will it break down their spirit? And that's what Zoago will keep telling me. Because if I see something, social media is a great thing, but also a very terrible thing. Because I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, that looks cool. That Canadian destroyer off this thing, it looks cool.
Diamonds are forever. Except these ones. These are gonna go fast. Brought to you by El Blunto. Diamond infused blunts.
They cut off my power. I had to relocate. Sorry about that.
No worries at all.
I can't believe this. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, no. I'll see a cool move and it'll just like I'll be thinking about moves and then I realize like that's not what this is about. This is about scaring. This is about putting the fear and breaking down my opponent's will. And you know, Zoago always brings me back to that. So it's been I just have fun doing what I do, you know? Like you said, it's all about the performance, the drama of it all. And that's what I'm here to do, you know.
And you
You
do
know,
it well. Like I said, you brought that aura to Kill City. It was a piece of it, you know. Your entrance, everything about that match, you know. It had you know, you had, like I said, you know, you sucked the soul out of a man right in front of people.
oh, that was a highlight. That's definitely a highlight for me right there.
And what's that like? That must have been some kind of a rush feeling. I mean, it's gotta feel like
That
a drug.
it was an outer body experience. That wasn't me that did that. That was straight up Zoago took over and just did his thing. And I was watching everything unfold, and I said, this is why I do what I do, because who else can do things like this?
You were just
You
like
know?
the perfect vessel for him, just coming in, just swoop,
Exactly. It
boom,
was
full.
yeah. It was such a incredible experience for
It was
sure.
so cool to see too. Like I said, and like we talked about, you know, like, A, you're not allowed to use that move anywhere in pro wrestling, and B, nobody. I don't know anybody else that knows that move.
Uh,
And it brought back that kind of Mortal Kombat finisher. It reminded me of, you know, like Sings out, like pulling out the guy's soul at the end or whatever it is. You know, it brought me back to my childhood at the arcade. Not that I don't still play video games now, but I think the fatalities were better back then. I'll be honest.
I've been more of a fan of back then also. I play the new ones, but I'm more of an old school gamer myself. I don't care for video game. I love Resident Evil, and we pretty much leave it at that. I never really, besides the new Resident Evil, I'm not really much of a fan of new video games nowadays. But Mortal Kombat is a classic for sure.
Yeah, again, I got the new one. Like I said, I try to keep up. And, you know, me and my kid play a lot of games. A lot of these games have become so story driven that it's almost like a
Oh,
movie to play through. And if that's your thing, cool. But like, you know, growing up, the cool part about it was just to kind of pick up and play, and just kind of go. I love, you know, platform gaming. I still like to play retro gaming. I still like to play, even they'll make new games today that have that retro feel, and I'll buy those games even though they're not that good, just because I like that feel. I like that pick up and play kind of go.
this might be a hot take, but I do not like the game Last of Us. I know it's ironic because you think zombie horror, but it's just I tried to play it and it was too, like you said, it was too much story. I just wanted to get to shooting zombies and stuff, and
Well, that was
it
like
took
the
too long for
quarry.
me.
I got very disappointed with the quarry. I played through
Uh
it, and it wasn't what I wanted it to be.
it's No Until Dawn for sure. No.
No, and it's just like I said, it wasn't. But you know what I will play almost like any day is Christmas Massacre. Any of those games that are made by that production team over there are amazing. They bring back a retro feel. They don't hold nothing back. There's zombies, there's death, there's sex, there's violence, there's crazy killers, serial killers. In Christmas, you know, Massacre, you're basically this deranged dude that wears a Santa's outfit, talks to a talking tree, and kills people up until Christmas, you know, New Year's. And your job is just to kill everybody and not get caught. You know, it's a wild ass game.
I
Yes,
might
it's
check
not for
that out. That
everybody,
sounds awesome.
but it's wicked fun. They put that out on Xbox, but mostly I'll find these games on PC and I'll play them because, you know, they aren't for everybody, but they are for me. I like that kind of horror, so I like those kind of games. And that's honestly what I was going to talk about earlier. Is that's where I've kind of gotten a little spooked. It's not really in the movies. I'll get lost in a good horror game like that and get spooked. You know, playing the clerk at night alone in a you know, a gas station. All of a sudden, a mass killer comes to the window. That's kind of scary. Did you get into that role a little bit? I'm not watching it. I'm actually, you know, playing it. I'm kind of, you know, having to anticipate what's going to happen and wait for it. It becomes a little bit different.
Yeah, no. Um, I have a situation going on here.
But yeah, you know, that's what I was saying, is that's where I usually get spooked, is kind of the video game realm of horror. If I'm playing those kind of retro games and put myself in those shoes of those characters. But yeah, you know, like I said though, Kill City Cup brought all three of those kind of things together. You do have that kind of, you know, pick a fighter. I want to see them win. You know, let's see them, you know, play. You didn't really need health bars, but you know, they were almost invisibly there. You know, it was cool to watch.
Yeah.
And to see, you know, fatality brought to life, to see characters like, you know, the Machine in there. You know, that was an interesting character. That's not something you see every day. A man that's a machine. And what better person to play that as Brian Cage? I mean, he basically is a machine.
I'm saying that's my biggest disappointment for not winning, is that I didn't get to get in there with every single person that was there, because everybody was looked so cool and had everything unique. Like I said, I just love wrestling different people because it's always a new experience. I just love the fight of it. It's fun. Yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's all kind of a learning experience. You see different styles, but you get to meet new people and you get to work different people, and it's fun. It's fun to see. It's fun to watch. Nobody wants to work the same opponent. Well, maybe some people do. I don't know. I mean, I see sometimes it's common that you'll see, you know, two people work each other for 5 or 6 years straight. But at the same point, it's like, put yourself out there. You know, experience something new. That's what it's for. That's what wrestling is so big now. So you can see something new.
Exactly.
You know, I'm a fan of new. I like different and new. And that's exactly what everybody's been able to deliver on that film. And I'm sure #2, when it drops, it's going to be just amazing. I'm hearing all sorts of rumors. And if even half of them are true, it's going to be a wild ride. You know, and so many things coming up. I heard, you know, conventions and Comic Cons and just great opportunities to get the film in front of fans that enjoy that sort of thing. That's the, you know, the downside of social media. You have to find the fans, you have to find the niche, you have to get them together. But these conventions, they're already there. They're just walking by. You just can say, hey, check this out. You know, and it was cool. Even at the one I went to, we got movie stars, you know, people that were in Sons of Anarchy walking by, checking out Kill City Cup, taking pictures with Mason X. That was amazing to see as a fan. You know, you're breaking the barrier now into the film world, into the movie world again. You know, everybody that was on that project has an IMDb page now. You know, the International Movie Database. They're considered actors. That's cool. I find that stuff cool. I find that stuff interesting. I'm a creator myself. And any way someone can be creative and use their skills to be creative, I just, you know, it's kudos to them.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. It's definitely a fun time for sure.
It is, and like I said, we're gonna check you out, and we're gonna, you know, follow you on social, and we're gonna share. And like I said, can't wait to see you in part 2. And I thank you again for taking the time to come out here on the VSW.
Oh no, thank you. I'm sorry that they took the power out of me and I had to go into hiding, but you know, you can't. It's hard to go walking around with a face like this sometimes. So,
believe me, I know.
Sometimes you just have to do these things.
I'll tell you, I remember one time I had some wrestlers and they wanted to wrestle and they decided to wrestle. We wrestled in my local cemetery. And everything was going good until the red and blue lights came. And then all of a sudden, you know, they come rushing in. And you know, you got somebody dressed, you know, in a clown uniform. You got people dressed up. And the cops trying to make sense of it all from the car. And it's just like, I got to go over there and talk to him first.
Because they just don't understand.
If he walked over there, he's probably going to draw a weapon. So I go over there, I'm like, look, we're just pro wrestling. No one's getting hurt. They're all professionals. The cops just laugh. He takes a picture of my kid and leaves. But to other people watching it, you know, they saw some kind of a murder scene going on. So I get all that. I honestly do. Yeah. But like I said, thank you for taking the time, and thank you for, you know, keep coming back on and, you know, changing your location.
Thank you.
Really, you know, it's been a pleasure, and we can't wait to see more of you.
Thank you. I had a ritual planned, but I had to leave my humble abode. And you know, next time you will be a part of the Zoago ritual. All right.
Sounds good to me. Thank you very much. And hey, everybody at home, make sure you check out Kill City Cup. Check out the first one because the second one's coming soon.
Looking
and
at
thank you, everybody, and make sure to support indie wrestling.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.